I think it's how you think about it too. Like I always just felt, oh, that'll be feeling so nice and so happy about that. So keep that thought there.
Hello, everybody. Today we get to talk to Deanna Aliano, and she is a self-taught artist from Florida, and she is just blossoming. I love her abstract interpretation of things, and she's been on a recent. Have you been on the TV yet, or is
What
that
was on
coming?
that little clip? I just did it.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I saw it.
Just like a quick little thing.
Yeah, and you were painting with the TV guy, and I could tell he loved it. He
He
loved it.
did.
So,
He actually posted on his personal page. So it was pretty
yes,
cool.
see?
Cool.
I was like,
So
wow,
cool.
it turned out really
So,
great. Go ahead.
We're gonna need to share that clip with our viewers.
yeah, for sure. Anyway, I met Deanna through our art tribe, and we are all in Illuminate together, and boy, she's helped me a lot. Lynn too, with all the techie stuff and navigating systems. So I'm just going to let you tell a little bit about how you got started with this art journey.
Okay. It's kind of funny how I started. I had never painted before, other than inside the house. Everybody would have me painting their rooms and their homes. And a few years ago, I think it was about 6 years now, one of my girlfriends, she was turning 50, and she's impossible to buy for because there's nothing she wants. And she's obsessed with sloths. She's a CPA, and her job is very stressful, and she wants to go rescue sloths. Like she's going to go away one day. So I said, I'm going to do a painting 4 hours before I'm meeting her. And I'm like, I'm going to paint a sloth. So I had these little tiny paints, and I don't know where they came from. They could have been from my son, little acrylic paints. And here I am on a piece of paper painting a sloth. And I was like, and then we ran and we got it framed. But as soon as I felt the paint, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. And so then after that, I did some pouring, which is not easy. Everybody thinks that when you pour, it's just going to turn out to be this masterpiece. And I learned, my first one was a total swipe. And then shortly after that, I started doing a lot of other things. I've done a gazelle. I actually did that for a commission, a huge gazelle. It was for a hunting ranch. It was for their, a fundraiser for them. And surprising, my parents couldn't believe it. I could paint. So,
yeah, hidden talents. You were hiding it from them.
And myself, really, because I had no idea. I was like, but you know how you just get that feeling? As soon as I started with the paint, I'm like, oh my gosh, so crazy, and unexpected.
Yeah. So when you say self-taught, now, did you take classes online or watch YouTube videos, or how did you?
I did the YouTube videos for the pours. And they always tell you it's this, it's that. And I was like, and even with that was a total mess. So I guess it's more of just some things I would look up, you know what I mean? If I were trying to do hair or something on an animal, just try to get a feel of it, or clouds. Different things like that. But I didn't take a formal course when I first started. I did take one, but I don't know if I got a lot out of it. Do you know what I mean? I think sometimes when you start doing that, you get more confused.
Right.
It really becomes where you're like, I'm not sure, especially if you're doing abstract, composition and all that, it gets a little overwhelming. So, but I did learn a little bit about color. So I've dabbled, and I've more so actually this year I took a course. Her name is Wyann Thompson, and I learned a lot from that. But that's, we're already 5 years in me doing it, and I just was very drawn to her. So as far as technique and stuff, just wanting to do, and she does all kinds of different things. So that was really, I like to have fun, and I'm not really I don't get attached to a painting. Like I could just paint right over it. I'm happy when it sells, I don't have that attachment. So that I think helps,
Yeah.
because
I used to think I didn't have attachment to my artwork, and I do believe that if somebody wants to buy it, I'm selling it because I can paint another one. But I will say that the more I get into it, the more I have some of these paintings, and I'm like, oh, I love that one so much, and maybe nobody will buy it, so I can keep it. But yeah. I guess I'm getting worse with age, but that's okay. I still will sell anything to anybody if they want to buy it. So,
Yeah, I'm usually pretty happy to let my paintings go, but there was a little bit of a tug. So there was one, I recently did a gallery exhibit thing, just a community event. And there was this set of paintings that I thought there's no way these are going to sell because they were like close-ups of eyes, like a collection of 4-inch eyes. I'm like, they're not going to sell. Anyway, I get an email from the art director and she was like, oh yeah, somebody came in and said they had a vision and they ended up buying your collection of eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought to myself, I got to go back to the gallery before that exhibit comes down and take a couple of pictures of those to have it. And I just looked at those like, you don't belong to me anymore, but it was fun spending time with you.
Yeah. It's nice though to be like that. It's funny though too, the ones that you think are going to sell, and then they like ones that I'm like, I don't even like that painting.
yes.
And they're like, I love it. It's like,
Yes.
it's so interesting to me, like even when you might be thinking of just painting over, and someone wants it.
I wonder why that is. I wonder if there's something in the, like some sort of subconscious expression that's in that painting that somebody can feel it or somehow they can sense it. And maybe it wasn't necessarily like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't like the most comfortable or fun subconscious expression for us. Like it's subconscious, so we're not really conscious of it. And we don't know why it is. But somebody else might feel it and then, for some reason it speaks to them, the soul language that comes through the art. I don't know. Does that make sense? Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah.
It does. You know what? I was thinking of something. We were talking about how I took that course and her name with YN Thompson. And she said this, which really stuck with me so much. She said, it's not your job to love your art. It's your job to paint your art. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like we don't have to love every single thing we do. We're here to paint and just create. And so I do think about that because sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? And also what you're saying, Lynn, I think that the energy, and I've said, that's what actually people say to me is I can feel like your energy, and that's what I want actually to break. But mine is I want it to be uplifting. So I don't paint a lot of really dark things. It doesn't resonate with me. So, but your energy goes with your painting, I think, when you put it into it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Boy, I need to chew on that a little bit more. You don't need to love your art. You just need to paint it.
Yeah. That's our job. That's what we're here for. And then just to do it and to feel what you're doing when you're in the moment.
Yeah. Because sometimes I get hung up on that. That perfectionism in you comes out at the very end and you're like, oh, I got to fix this. I got to fix this. And, you just keep fixing instead of just saying, I'm done. Walk away. Yeah.
I'll let it, I call it, it's resting. I say, actually there's painting resting behind me. So I have painting that is resting and then I just leave it alone and just go back to it instead of just constantly working it and not looking at it as much, just move it out of my space and work on something else. And if I don't feel like it's really done, and that really helps, for me. is just get it away from me. And then when you go back, I don't know if you guys have done that, where you go back and you're like, oh, it's just a whole new thing and you're ready to work on it.
Yes,
Mhm.
I have done that. I think I'm a little out of sync with the whole painting thing because I've been so busy with all the other things that I haven't had time to devote to my art.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a priority. I feel that
Yeah.
way.
Mhm.
I'll notice it's kind of, I like to work out and it's the same thing. When I haven't painted, like, you know, if 3 days have gone by, I can feel it, you know, that it just is your place to relax. Or, I mean, for myself, my place to relax and it just gives me something. I think that's when I was saying when that first few brush strokes, I was like, oh, wow, I can feel something with this, you know?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like it does something for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but one of the things that I have a little quibble with the resting thing, because I've done this, and of course I have to do it, especially when I work with oils, but is that it's kind of hard to get into the same energy again. And then if I approach a painting and sometimes I can use music to kind of bridge the energy, but sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work. Um, and then I feel like I'm creating a new painting. Do you experience that? And how do you feel about that if you do?
You know what? I guess I feel like that was going to be part of like I have a painting. I'm thinking of it right now when we're talking, and it's a completely different painting. And I'm actually okay with that because that's for me, it's a lot of layers. Like so many
Mhm.
paintings have a ton of layers. And my first layer, I just let it go. And then but I do, it may not be exactly the same energy, and I'm okay with that. If I'm not in the energy, then I shouldn't be working on it. That's how I feel. If I don't feel that feeling, like, oh, okay, here we go. You know, like I have a couple things sitting around right now that I'm not really touching because I'm not there. There's just no
Mhm.
point in getting into it because then you're really not going to feel it and you kind of just get stuck or you're forcing it. So, but I love the layers. I mean, that's really like some of my paintings are like totally different. Like it'd be funny to see, you know, which I probably should post something like that, like where it started and all the process that got to where it is just become something so different, you know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it's exciting, you know, like that's part of the fun part is because you just don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
I think, Lynn, to your question, sometimes it really depends on the style of the painting too. Whether
Mhm.
or not you're working with abstract, which I know you do, Deanna, and I like a lot of abstract. You do too, Lynn, but you do some more realism things, and that's a little bit different, I think, than abstract because abstract can go in a totally different direction. But when
Mhm.
you're painting realism and you're seeking a certain emotional experience with that painting,
Mm-hmm.
you do have to kind of hone in on that every time.
Mhm.
I've painted like different, it's so funny. And I've said, I don't enjoy painting cats that much, but every time I turn around, I'm painting a cat. Like I have probably done 5 cats and, it's funny, but if I'm not in the right energy, I just have to let it go. Do you know what I mean? Like I have to get away from it because then it definitely it's not going to flow. So actually,
Mhm.
my last cat that I did, it went so quickly, and I was like, "Is this done?" I was like so shocked that it was done. So
Mhm.
I think it's you know, just being nice to yourself because sometimes we're not going to be in the mood
Mhm.
Mhm.
at all.
You have a gallery, like is it a gallery space or
It's
explain your place to
Yes,
it's
us?
spill the
called
beans.
yeah, it's a really cool place. It's called Zero Empty Spaces. And I think maybe someone left. So it's about 14 or 15 artists. And Zero Empty Spaces, what they do is they go around, there are different areas. We have like in their Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale. I think there's one in Massachusetts also. And it's a reasonable way for artists to have a space. So the average is like 10 by 10. You pay a monthly, and it's month to month. So if you have to leave, it's okay. You can go ahead and leave. And they've been doing more like events and stuff. Like that's where my little TV thing was. Because they're going to do something on Saturday all through the county where you can go visit studios. So we're part of it. And where we're at right now is it's at the old IBM building. It's huge, like campus. It's enormous. And even there, they have like Lynn University has art, like they're very into art. So it's beautiful. I mean, just they redid the whole place, but you can feel that energy, like as far as like, that's where so many things were invented. It's amazing. So I love being in that space. So, so what they do is they find empty, could be in office buildings or storefronts, and they work with the owners until it's rented. So sometimes you have to move. That is part of it. But
Okay.
I'm just happy to be there.
Yeah. That sounds so is your studio there too? Is that where you paint?
I do some in the house
Mm-hmm.
because whenever, to drive, it's not that far. It's about 15 minutes and I have to plan it. So I probably go like 2 or 3 days a week. And they do ask, they want you to be there, from 12 to 5, certain amount of hours, so that public can go and space and see, artists working. And and then also you're around other artists.
Right.
So sometimes you're talking to each other or you're working on something and, you go over to each other and kind of help out a little bit. So it's a good energy.
I went to a place like that in Sarasota called Apricot and Lime. And that's the two streets that intersect. And there's like I want to say 3 or 4 buildings that they have all these artists in. And I was in heaven. I really was. And when you mentioned the energy, that's what made me think of it, because there's such a different energy there. I walked around and talked to all these different artists, and they're all so warm and welcoming. I mean, there were a couple that were a little, reserved, whatever, but most of them were like just really receptive and wanted to talk to you. And I loved it. So, that started my wheels spinning, like maybe someday I might participate in something like that because it's so cool.
Yeah. And it gets you out of your house, or wherever you're working, out of your space. So they're around other people. And sometimes, I'm there, you can go at any time and there's nobody there. And I like that too. I like that both, you can have somebody there and then other times you're just by yourself. Like we're allowed to go 24 hours, we have a keypad, to get in and everything. So it's nice to be able to just have somewhere to go. And all my stuff is set up there. I don't know if you've probably seen my clips. Sometimes I'm like zipping through, to show what it looks like. But, and I do put my art on the wall because I do have guests come in and things like that, or once in a while, events. So, but I like it. Really nice. And it's a great thing.
That's the thing that I'm really curious about, is how you handle painting with guests kind of meandering around and maybe being able to see you working. How do you handle that? What's it like?
I don't know, but it's so funny because my personality is like not much bothers me. So I'm just like, because like I think because you saw that clip I did, I was like, I didn't know what to do. I had a few minutes on that morning show, but he was wonderful. His name is T.A. Walker, and he just was so easy. But it was 4:30 in the morning when we had to be there. So it was really early. So, I was up long before that because it's like a 20-minute drive. And I just relax. I'm like, whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. And so I used inks and, alcohol inks and acrylic inks and just figured, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Right.
It's a base of a painting. So I don't really, if I'm in the mood, then I will pay attention and talk to people. But if I'm not, I'll just keep working. Then nobody cares, you know?
Yeah, you were a natural, really. I just
Well,
felt so relaxed watching it. And I was like, I want to see more of the painting. I really did because it was good. It was really good.
he did good. But I planned it, I mean, like I picked all his colors and everything just so that it would be so easy for him.
Yeah.
If you use the wrong colors, it would
Yeah.
be some mud.
Uh-huh.
But he
Yeah.
was very funny. He was like happy about his painting. And then he did a larger one too. It was more of an abstract that he was helping a little bit with that one. But this was really him. I didn't do it. I just picked the colors for him
Wow. That's
and
so cool.
let him put it down. So I see what you mean. So Lynn, you wouldn't want the pressure of people being around and watching. Is that
Well,
yeah?
I was just thinking of the studio space that people can walk around and yeah, I think
She's
it
right.
would be interesting. Like if I go and set up an easel somewhere in public, I feel like that's a different thing. But you know, like
Mhm.
in my zone, creating my art, it would be interesting to have people that could just like see from time to time. Not that I'm opposed to it.
Mhm.
I feel like there's a little part of me that's like an introvert.
Yeah. I
And it would definitely be a big thing to get used to.
Hmm.
I know I am too, though. I'm actually, it doesn't seem like I am, but I am. I'm more shy. Yeah. I mean, that's like my nature is not to like probably what you're saying. So I know what you're saying. Like you feel like you want some of your privacy. There actually was someone in there and she had this whole cover up, like her whole face you couldn't see. So I
Wow.
just feel like that's, for her that works fine, but you're really shutting yourself out from other people. You know what I mean? And I don't want to, I wouldn't want to do that. So I know what you're saying, like I guess that I could see that sometimes, but I'm open to, but we do that in the group to share. Like I'm that type of artist is like, you're totally different than me and I'm not threatened by you. We can help each other. So if somebody
Hmm.
will like you who doesn't like me, or someone likes me, because they're really, like you said it, Dawn, they're buying the artist. So they really are buying you. I mean, sometimes they'll see your art and they're
Hmm.
just buying that. But
Hmm.
basically, they're buying part of you, you know,
Right.
they want to support you.
Yeah,
So,
because I have some friends and their relative is a fine artist and he's very good
mhm.
um and they talk about how great he is and I'm like he is, but that's great. I'm selling a lot of art. I
Yeah,
might not be a fine artist like him and maybe, maybe my art isn't as good. I don't know, but people like my art.
they do. Yeah.
And
I love
and
your
you
art.
know, I love your art too.
I love your art. I'm such big supporters.
I know we love each other's art, but because
Oh,
we love each other, we know each other, and
Mhm.
that's the beauty of it. We are
yeah.
connected.
And it's
Mhm.
important not to compare yourself because even in our space, she's going to be on that little clip. If you guys watch that news clip, she's a teacher. She's an art teacher. Like she's
Mhm.
phenomenal, like wow. But it's totally different than what I'm doing, you know.
Yeah.
And I think
Mhm.
she's in there for herself, you know what I mean? Just to get her time to paint for herself.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because she's probably on display to students all day long.
Yeah, so it's nice. I mean, she's totally different artist than I am. So that's I try not to look around because you know what I mean at other people because otherwise you get all caught up in it
Yeah.
and you're selling Dawn because people love you and you have beautiful art. That's really what it is. It's a combination of the two things going together. So a lot of people may not sell like there's someone in there. She's never there. I never see her. She's so lovely though. She's across from me. I wish she was there more. She's a yoga. She owns
Oh,
a yoga business, and
wow.
yeah. So it's really interesting. She has her space, but I don't really see her too often. So it's just everybody's different and what
Hmm.
their goals are. Even they're just some people are just to paint, not to make money.
Right.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Every time I get myself a little bit stressed about should I do this or should I do that, I'm very fortunate because my husband's like just do what you want to do. He keeps reminding me that I should just return back to what it is that I want to do. And then I remember that I used to try to follow this idea of like creating sellable art. Like, if you do these kind of things and, kind of keep everything really positive, well, then people are going to buy it. And honestly, the stuff that I've sold, the stuff that people really feel the most drawn to, is stuff that I didn't consider to be really sellable. But it's because there was something that transpired during the painting process.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think art is just, everyone's different. We all have different taste. I mean, it's crazy. Like someone will say to me, they don't like something and they feel that you should promote something else. And then 5 minutes later, there's someone else who comes, like I've done these little art, I did like an art walk, 5 minutes. I love that painting. It's like, you just have to not even, you can't put that into the equation anymore. It makes
that
Oh,
same
it's so funny.
experience.
I just thought of something. I did this like this Italy, this one painting, and we never brought it to the art walk. And I sold it. I did it on my live art show. I wound up selling 4 of those.
Oh my God.
Just keep making them because everybody, but I never took it because I was like, oh, that's not a good one. And they just, and then it was like, do you have that one? And so here I am making a new one. And then I made another one. It's just, that's the part about art. You just have to just let it go and just do what you want. Do it for yourself.
Yeah.
What's in your heart. Like, I love trying new things.
Me too.
Do you, Dawn? Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I do. I love experimenting. Lynn, I was going to tell you, I saw your eyes because you had posted them in a video and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought to myself, I love those little eyes. And I thought, my daughter would love one of those because she's into like is it the third eye or whatever? And that's a yoga symbol and, intuition and what have you. And yeah, you sold them all. So you are going to have to make more of those. Well, you don't have to. But yeah, they were really cool.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to paint. I mean, I like doing portraits, but for me, it's always the eyes. And I wanted to practice eyes, which is why I separated them and did them on 4-inch by 4-inch things. But, speaking of intuition and manifesting, I was just opening up to your chapter, Deanna. Change your mindset and manifest your dreams. You want to tell us about it?
I think that's really just, I feel like a lot of things in my life are when I just clear my mind and it just comes along, just let it go and really visualize what you want, just even the fact of maybe becoming an artist. And in the last year or so, just moving forward. And it's really in your mindset of like, what do you want? Really just figuring out and maybe not knowing the outcome of what's going to happen and just put it out there, really. So I felt this way for many, many years, but it was so nice to write it and to have it in a book and, just put it out there. Like it's much more mainstream, I think, that we're talking about it more, that we want to create our lives, more of what we want. A lot of people are talking about it. I think before it was like kind of like more woo-woo, you're not going to discuss it. So this was a really nice opportunity for me to share my views about that. And I know it's been proven over and over to me. Like I live near the beach. That was always my dream. And everything just came together. It just was amazing, just so many things. Like if you picture what, like your Dawn, wants to, change your life and it can happen. You just have to start thinking about it and then let it go really.
Yeah. How close are you to the beach? I gotta know.
I walk down the hall and I'm on the beach.
Oh my gosh. That's so nice.
Yeah. But I mean, the story behind that's crazy. It's a little long, but it just the fact I'm a realtor also. I took someone to look at properties, 12 properties. And when I walked in the one that we live in, I just had that feeling like, oh my gosh, she should buy this, like this is the best opportunity. It's the best opportunity. And so was in February, and it went on and off the market. And then we came to look at this in September. It still hadn't sold, like crazy. It should have sold. And, just a lot of obstacles. And we wound up moving here. It's crazy because like even the fact that it went on the market, off the market, on the market, and there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I always pictured that. And it wasn't in my mind. I always thought, I don't want it to be huge. I just want a little, like a condo or something small. That's where we are.
That's awesome.
That's
We
wonderful.
talk about manifestation and, just visualizing things and thinking them, but I think it's really important for people to know that behind the manifestation, behind the visualization, we have to do the action too. I mean, it just doesn't fall on your lap. People have the wrong impression of that. Like if you manifest this, it's just going to fall on your. No, you got to do the footwork too.
You do.
We are all doing that. So
yes, we definitely are. I think so. And I mean, even in the case of this, coming to look at the condo,
right.
But also I feel it's a lot of how you feel too, so if you're feeling bad about it and you're, oh, it's never going to happen, just think of really, and then let it go and keep going, try to do things that make you feel better and happier. Try to change your emotions, not fixating on that. That's what I mean. Like just finding something like your granddaughter, like how much fun is that? You know what I mean? Like if you're like children or, going to the beach, all those things like, or whatever makes you painting for us, it's going well, not on a bad day. Yeah, but you're right. It is action too. Yeah, I guess people think that you just think of it and then it'll happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think people have to be careful about how they're thinking about things. Because sometimes there's a little bit of, doubts or like a fear, like maybe we want something for the wrong reasons. And so, like if you really feel it, like, when you find something that is really genuine and really resonates with you, and then you just really feel like, okay, that's for me in the future. And then when you believe it, I feel like then all of a sudden you start taking these kind of, inspired action towards it. Like if my dream were to have a house on the beach in Florida, well, I've got to start putting money in the bank account, right? Like it's not going to just, show up. Or when it does show up, I got to have the money.
But as long as your thoughts behind that are positive, you know what I mean? Like you're excited about what you're doing, because otherwise you're actually countering like, oh, we don't have enough money. Like it's not what you think it's going to be. You don't have to, you put it out there and of course move towards it. Certainly don't spend all your money, but it's more of how you feel about it. Like if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'll never have enough, or we have to do that, it doesn't feel the same. Like I didn't think that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the timing too. Like our market has completely changed in Florida. Like it's gone through the roof since we bought. Yeah. Crazy, right? So the timing, even selling our house, we were supposed to live there 2 years. So it's just things that you don't expect will present themselves if you're open to it. So it's kind of what you're saying, Lynn, like you won't see it if you're not doing anything. The action will just go right by you. Like if I didn't think about it, I'm like, oh, we should go look at that place, then it never would have happened. Or, oh, it's not possible. I'm sure it's sold. Because it could have been.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
was the day we were coming to see it, she already had another contract on it. And then she never called me back to tell me the contract fell through.
Hmm.
I was like, huh. And it just popped up again. And I was like, oh, wow, it's there. We should go look at it, And that's what we did. And it really was needed work. I mean, it had like light pink and light blue carpeting. It was like, oh, so, I mean, like even that idea of like, oh, that may not be what we want to do. But yeah, I think it's how you think about it too. Like I always just felt, oh, that'll be feeling so nice and so happy about that. So keep that thought there
Mhm.
instead of being like, oh, that'll never happen. We have to save the money.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where the money's coming from.
You don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's manifesting because you're just surprised. Like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe
it is. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah. It seems unattainable. That's in our minds.
Mhm.
Things are not possible to happen. And then they just all work out.
I remember when I bought the little place in Florida and sight unseen, and I walked into it. I walked into it with my husband, and he was like, oh my God. And I was like, oh, I love it. Like I didn't see all the stuff that he saw. He saw work. This needs done. And I just saw, oh, I love it.
Yep. That's exactly it.
And I do love it. I mean, it was a lot of work, but I love it.
Yeah.
So
it's exciting.
I didn't know where I was going to get the money either.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like sometimes you can sit on that too much and just don't, just think of what you want. And of course, take action. I'm not saying not to, but if you take action and you're thinking in a negative way, it's not leading you where you want to go. Just think this is what I want and then get happy somewhere else. Don't fixate on that. That's what I feel like is just do something that makes you enjoyable and of course, continue to work and things like that. But you will be surprised. I mean, the details of this were just crazy. Like, I can't even believe they had a cash offer on this place. We couldn't have a cash offer. We were selling our house. We had all these things, all these different things that, oh, that's never going to happen. Like they're never going to accept our offer. But they accepted our offer. Weird. Wow. Yeah. That's what, I think, oh, you can't really get into that thought too much because you may be surprised.
Mindset is a tricky thing. And that's why I listen to Abraham Hicks. I listen to Wayne Dyer, a couple other ones on YouTube every day. Every day I listen to something. Lynn, I know you're always sending me podcasts. You listen, she listens, she's the podcaster. She listens and she sends me these great podcasts. And I feel like my brain is like a sponge, right? I can absorb a lot of stuff, but it leaks out. It just keeps leaking out. So I got to keep putting the good stuff in.
But some staying in there. The things that really matter are staying.
Yeah.
They'll leave an impression on you.
Yeah, they do for sure.
Yeah, it's funny because I even think, sometimes we have so many examples, but we're not paying attention, of things like working out. Like, how did that work out? Or opportunities. And they go so fast that you actually are not recognizing your wins. So like I did that little TV clip thing, and now next week I will have forgotten. You know what I mean? Like different things that you're not taking the time. Like I know, Lynn, you just did something with the hotel, right? Or something that was, and then you did a little, you were just talking about it, a show, right? So like all those things are huge. Like, that's huge.
Yes. Confession. I haven't, while we're recording this, I haven't finished the commission for the hotel space. But I have finished most of it. Like it's the 6-foot by 4-foot Aurora painting that I have some like stuff, you know, in the foreground, which is like for my community. And I haven't finished that, but I'm going to be done with it by the time this airs. Be done with it in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So,
Yeah.
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 The timing with painting is everything. So
mhm.
you'll get in there when you're in the right, feeling, I guess, and then you'll
Yeah.
just do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Thank
what a
you.
huge opportunity. And you were on TV too, Lynn.
Was I?
Yes.
Yes, I forgot.
Yes.
Talk
You
about
were on
celebrating
TV.
wins. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yeah, well, and
She
yeah, it was
forgot.
really interesting because the Community Art Center, and I just want to give a plug to community art centers for those of you listeners who live in like small, remote places like me, because I'm 7 hours north of Chicago, and my community is just real. It's rural. Okay, our big box stores are Walgreens and Walmart. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it. But
Mhm.
anyway, the art gallery is run by someone for more than 30 years. And so, at some point she told me that she's done at least 10 exhibits a year for 30 years. So she's done 300 something, exhibits in that specific carriage gallery where they set up my show. And it just blew my mind. But it especially blew my mind when she emailed me and said, "Oh, yeah, TV6 is going to interview you if you're available." And it was like, I don't know, 11:30 or something in the morning. And I was like, "Okay, well, what time do you want me to be there?" And she's like, "Oh, let me check." And she got back to me, "He can be here in 20 minutes." And I was like, "Okay, I'll be there in 10." Luckily, I live close enough. But yeah,
Mhm.
and so it was like a big, big camera because that's what the TV stations use. And so it's a little bit daunting. But yeah, it was all taken care of for me. I mean, by the art director because she wanted to promote the gallery and the show and she
Yeah.
knows how to do it.
Yeah, that was a great interview too. And it
Mhm.
was pretty lengthy
Yeah.
from what I remember.
Yeah. Those are the
Mhm.
things we forget.
Yeah.
We forget, like even with your funnel, Dawn, you were like so many people and there were so many going. It was like amazing. I was like so excited for you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was very excited about it. I'm still excited about it because
Well,
it's still working.
it's because they're beautiful. But I mean, I just the fact that it just was like moving and everyone wanted them and it was just so exciting. But
Yeah,
we forget those things. I know that's
we do.
important because I'm doing it. I do it too. But like, so I was thinking back to manifesting. It's so funny because I might have contacted you guys, but I also was looking into podcasts. And then the very next morning at like 7 o'clock, I got the message about me being on that little TV thing. They'd asked me. And I was like, so that's the momentum
Yeah.
going, like there's the
Yeah.
opportunity. Like, wow,
Yeah.
that was so great, because it was me and another person in our space. It was really nice. But it was like it fell in my lap, kind of like what you're saying, Lynn. It's like, oh, okay. I don't really have to work about getting myself on TV. It's happening, It's
Yeah.
so
Right.
it's great. Yeah.
One thing we haven't done in our community, our art community, is celebrate our wins, our Wednesdays.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they are important because you're right, we're fast forgetters. We
Mhm.
have accomplished a lot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Same thing with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it, and then you don't really realize how much you've done. How much
Hmm.
have you accomplished?
Hmm.
Mhm.
So much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you were talking about comparison, one of the phrases that I would tell the art parties before we started is comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
And aren't we here to experience joy?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
My husband made a little painting.
Did he?
I was just, he's like, oh, I'll paint something. And he painted it. And I'm like, oh, that is really good. And then I showed it to my sister who went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh and she's very talented. And
Yeah.
she goes, oh, I need that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, Yeah, we can't,
Yeah.
don't compare ourselves out of
You can't.
joy.
That's funny. You just made me think. I had when I was doing those when I started doing the pours and all that. I had like a bunch of girlfriends come over and we were doing them, and they're not easy. I know they're not. So that's why I'm like I respect that a lot because I know it's not going to turn out the way you think it's going to. But I could not get them to stop talking to tell them what we needed to do. And I was like, you can't have these parties with friends because they're not listening. You're just like, and they all had different ones. And it was just funny because I was thinking to myself, like, because I'm helping them, to do it, but I'm like, all the mistakes, that I made to get to that point for them to be able to make a good one,
Yeah,
right?
right.
There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of mistakes that came with all those pours. Like, swipe it off. Yeah.
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 Color combos that did not work
They're
out.
not
In
happening.
my mind, I thought, because Lynn and I both started with pour painting too.
Mhm.
And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, these colors are going to be great. And then they come out on the canvas, and one of the colors that you really wanted to come through is buried.
Yeah.
You don't know where it went, or it flew off the canvas. And it's a little tricky.
It depends like how high you pour from one cup to the other. When you're layering, you got to layer them just perfect. Very
Yes.
gently if you want them separate, or if you want to mix it, you're lifting your, the pure color like really high so it mixes all through there. And
Uh-huh.
And it's
and the other
learning.
thing
I mean, it
is,
really is. Yeah, it's
the
learning.
other thing is like when you're, like if you're choosing your colors, you're going to choose complementary colors, right? That all like mix and match. But if you do that with fluid art, you're going to end up with it just being like, like all too much like one color because it's going to mix together. You need contrast in those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. That's why sometimes I think, oh, we should really respect them. Because I know I've heard that before, like, oh, I could do that. And I'm like, it's not the way it looks.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it's like a formula too. Like you got to have
Yeah.
the liquid and stuff. Yeah.
Well, the paints have different densities.
Mhm.
So even if you pick the right colors and you layer them just so, when you put them onto the canvas, those different densities determine which ones come through and which ones don't.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
They used to say that they have a mind of their own. They really do. I
they
can't
do.
imagine how it's going to turn out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's fun though. It's a fun thing to do.
Mhm.
Especially
Definitely
getting
fun.
people together. I didn't realize you guys both were doing pours before. It's nice.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, it's more or
Yeah.
less how I started.
Really? Oh, that's so
Mhm.
cool.
Me too. Well, actually, I did paint a lion head when I first started, but then I don't know. I think I saw pour painting on YouTube and I was fascinated. I was like, oh my gosh, and look how beautiful. I'm going to try that. So I did. I did quite a few of them.
Yeah, it's really neat. Yeah.
Mhm.
How long have you guys both been painting?
So for me, I took art in high school
Mm-hmm.
and I did take some art classes in college. I um, had several art classes in college. And then I had a family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And all of that went on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So I didn't start painting until after a significant loss, Brian Beatty.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was like first my son and then Brian, who was like a son to me. And
Mm-hmm.
my sister actually said, come over, we're going to paint. Come over to my house. And I was just going to her house for like a little escape weekend, right? To get away from everyone. And I'm like, no, I am not painting, you
Oh.
know. And she says, yeah, you are. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Well, I get there. She has the whole table set up with paint.
Mm-hmm.
And her daughter's there too. And she's like, oh, we're going to have a little paint party. And I went, I mean, you can't fight it.
Nope.
So I sat there and I started painting. And when we first started this talk, I remember you talking about how you just get that sense of calm
Mhm.
And, I hadn't experienced that in a long time because my MO is keep busy, 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 run, 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 do, 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 help, help, help.
Mhm.
And that gave me the permission to sit still.
Right.
And not only did I sit still, which was very painful for me at that time, but I felt good doing it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
It just brought this peace over me and joy and the colors. And I
Mhm.
think that's why I like the bright colors too, because it just elevates you. And boy, from then on, I was hooked.
Yeah. I could see like that. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, yeah, I basically didn't paint for a lot of my adult years. I mean, I did a little bit before I went to college, and then and when I started college, I just got focused on science, and then I restarted in 2019 over a Christmas break. Um, Bought a couple of paint by number kits, and my husband and I, we were alone, and we just worked on these kits. And then I started looking at YouTube, and I started figuring out that there was a whole world of things that I had no idea about. And so I started exploring after that. So basically, early 2020.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. Yeah. When I meet people, they say they're not artistic, at all. And, because they come into our studio sometimes, people come in and I'll say, oh, do you paint? And we do get a lot of artists come through too. And they're like, no, I can never paint. And I'm like, well, I didn't think I could either. It's really, it's because
Mhm.
I had never painted ever. I would never imagine that I could paint. So I
Mhm.
know that we all have some creativity,
Oh yeah,
somewhere
for sure.
in
Yeah,
us.
I love the print that I got from you. I am in love with it. I wish I had it down here so I could show people.
Thank
It's
you.
absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. I love those bright colors. I can't get,
Do you still
even
have
if I
that
think I'm
original?
getting away, but I'm back to the bright colors.
Do you still have that original? Just questioning.
I'm trying to remember what you had. Like two of those originals are gone. Two of them sold. I'm trying to remember which one you got
It
from.
had like some drippies in it, and
I do have. Oh, that's funny. I actually have that one here because I had to
Oh,
take.
let's see it.
Let's show you. That one's actually here, and it's
In fact,
never here. It's
I'm gonna
normally on the wall. This one, right?
look at that painting.
Yeah,
Yes,
I forgot about this one. This is yeah,
very nice.
I love that one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Which one? What is that titled? I think that's the one I chose too.
Um,
Really?
oh my gosh, I should know the titles. Hold on, hold on. It might be on the back of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, write it on the back.
I should. I can't remember the title of it, but I'll look it up.
Yeah,
It's
I think
gorgeous.
I
Thank you.
think that's the one I picked as well. But
Yeah,
you dropped a couple extra ones in there, which was super
I
nice.
know.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll leave the link because Deanna is offering free print for the cost
Mhm.
of shipping and handling, 5x7. And if you want a bigger print, she has really nice prices for those as well.
Mhm.
So check
Thank you,
the
guys.
And
notes for the
original
podcast.
paintings, unless they're gone.
Definitely.
Yep. Some are gone, but some are still here. Like I
Yeah,
forgot that was in the house.
that's crazy that
Yeah,
that one was there.
I
Yeah,
know. That is funny. Yeah, I like that one.
I
Yeah.
do too,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
It's like calling my name.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's really different than a lot of your other work, whereas a lot of your other work I see blue, and that one is really much more like whites and pinks, and I don't know
Yeah.
why. Just the softness of it,
Mhm.
is something really, I don't know. I want to say magical, but that's not really the right word, but it's just
I
something
feel like it
like
dances across
abundance.
the canvas,
Yeah.
don't you? It's
It's
like
Yeah,
dancing across the
Mhm.
canvas.
there's
Hmm
something
Mhm.
about abundance for me in there. I don't know if
Mhm.
that's
trying to remember if that's the name. I'm walking through the other ones in my
It
mind.
may be. I
Yeah,
think it might be. Yeah.
it might be.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now I'm going to
Awesome.
have to remember the names. Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
do, you do. You don't, you don't. It's okay.
So what colors are you usually drawn to? Because for me, what I'm familiar with your work, that one seems to be a different color palette than what I usually see from you.
Um, you know what? It really is. It isn't, even though it might appear like it. Like I'm thinking, what else is sitting here?
Mm.
I'll show you. I do like bright colors, but here's like a floral. So I'm always going, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I love those greens in that one, but I do like to put a little like fluorescent pops in there. So
Mm-hmm.
some of
Yeah.
the ones in the what do you call it? The free offer, or there are a couple of them are darker. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I do seem to go, but I've done a lot of like type of pinks and florals. So I don't know if that's not in that series in that 5. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
different. Yeah, so I wish I would say that I do that color, these colors too. And it really is depending on my mood. I try
Mm-hmm.
not to think about it, and you know what I mean, like lock myself in that I have to use a certain color. You know,
Right.
that's why I think commissions are hard. Because you're
Mm-hmm.
They
locking into
are.
something. Like I'm not that good at that.
Not only that, there's a pressure associated with them. Like, am I going to paint what they want? You don't have that freedom of just totally letting go and expressing yourself and not
Mhm.
worrying about what somebody thinks. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure with commissions.
Yeah, and to know what is in their minds.
Right.
So sometimes I'll say to someone, you have to give me a general idea of what you like, because when I'm painting, I'm still going to go with my own style. That's what you're going to do, because it's like your own handwriting, really. I can tell whose paintings are like, if something comes up, I know whose painting it is,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
even through the cards, what do you call it? Cards. The people I knew whose card it was in
Yeah.
the affirmation cards.
Yeah, me
Whose
too.
paintings they are, because it's like your handwriting, like my
Yes.
paintings, you can normally tell they're mine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did this. I did that exercise actually. I was looking through and I'm like, I know her. I know her. I know her. And then I'd flip it over and I'm like, yep, that's right.
Yeah, it's who you
Yeah.
expect. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I do like pinks. I tend to go. There seems to be a lot of pink in things, but I love blue too. So
Yeah.
this was an old one I did, and like we have it in the house though.
Mm-hmm.
But there's all this shiny. This is all shiny.
It's like an ocean feel.
It is, but this is before we lived here. So isn't that funny? I did
Is
that.
that manifestation? Yeah.
Yeah, isn't
Oh, yeah.
that funny? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
But I love bright colors.
Uh-huh. Me too.
So,
All right.
Deanna,
So, oh, I'm sorry, Lynn. Go ahead.
no problem. So, Deanna, what would you like to share with our listeners? Something that we haven't talked about yet, something that's going on, anything that you want to come back to?
No, I guess I feel like as far as what my purpose, I think is, and it's funny because a lot of people are saying it to me, is like I am a little shy, but I'm getting out of my comfort zone and just doing the things that make me uncomfortable, and it makes all the difference, it has for me, just try, try
Mhm.
things. And especially if it feels good. And sometimes it's uncomfortable. Like even, like my first live art show, was so hard to go and talk and all that. But I was so happy after I did it. You were very inspiring, Dawn, too, that you did it. I was like, Dawn did it. So I think we have to try those things if we want to get past where we are,
Right.
So, and I want to do that too, not just for, myself, but just for others to be like, it's possible,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
whatever you want to do. It's
Yeah.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
enjoy the
great
journey,
advice.
Yeah.
right?
Enjoy the
Oh,
journey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Really great advice. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing that.
Yeah. I love talking to you today. This was awesome.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. I I love talking to you guys too. Thank you.
Hmm.
Yes. Thanks for coming on the show. And again, if you want to check out Deanna's art, we're going to have a link to her website
Mhm.
and to her free print offer.
Mhm.
And look her up because she's got some really good stuff.
Thank you
She's
guys.
on the move. Definitely. Don't forget to check out her chapter of the Creative Lifebook.
Mhm. Thank you. Oh yeah. That line.
We forgot to prep her to make sure she had her copy.
Yeah.
All right, Deanna. Thank
Yeah.
you.